Welcome to episode 11 in November, when I reflect on finding joy in my habit to show a positive attitude. November's habit is to show a positive attitude. In November, make it your goal to wear joy as your smile every day and on every excursion. A positive attitude can be habit forming. Oh no, you say, not a smiley face? Should I be forcing a smile even when I'm feeling down or downright grumpy? That doesn't feel very evolved. Shouldn't I be being myself? Well, yes, and that depends on which self you want to be. The temporarily grumpy self, or the self that you truly are, a child and agent of love and joy. Science tells us that when we uplift the corners of our mouth in a smile, even if we aren't feeling happy, just the movement of those muscles causes the secretion of feel-good hormones. We don't smile because we're happy. It turns out we're happy because we smile. So showing a positive attitude might very well create one. Hi, I'm Steve Bhaerman, and welcome to November's habit to show a positive attitude. Well, since playfulness and humor are the shortest distance to a positive attitude, my life as Swami Bhayantananda has essentially been dedicated to inspiring positive attitudes everywhere, doing comedy, cosmic comedy. Now, this showing a positive attitude isn't about denial or pretending that things aren't happening when they are. Turns out that heart-opening and mind-expanding humor is about transmuting the energy of a frustration, a hurt, a disappointment, and using it to find insight, healing, and even joyful laughter. I've been blessed to be able to see funny, even when the situation isn't funny at all. I remember some years ago being very frustrated and angry about a political issue. And I was just about to go on stage to perform, and I was really, really upset. And then this idea came to me, this joke came to me. And so I opened the show by saying, we have a deeply divided body politic. Half the people believe the system is broken, the other half believe it's fixed. And everybody laughed. It made me laugh, and it's always worked with audiences of all kinds. So just understand that sometimes when you find a joke that's hidden in a picture, that joke can actually transform not just your attitude, but your perspective. Full spectrum humor. You allow your humor to be on the spectrum wherever you are, no matter whether you're feeling gloomy or whether you're feeling joyful, humor will put you there. Now, when you lighten yourself and enlighten yourself by showing a positive attitude out there, the feedback that you get from out there, like smiling people, helps you develop a better attitude in here. As you learned in our introductory episode to the 12 Habits as the path to mutual enlightenment, this path is a new way to actually put our desire for unity and intentional evolution into real practices. We can grow spiritually while at the same time we practice these habits in real life. That helps us achieve what Bruce Lipton calls heaven on earth. And that's why he endorses the 12 Habits path. Remember, when you show a positive attitude, you're projecting a little bit of heaven out there. These 12 habits I have found are the most enjoyable way to put evolution into practice. We work all together, we play all together, practicing these habits coherently, 1 month at a time. And now I'd like to introduce my cohort in this webinar, the creator of the 12 Habits Path to Intentional Evolution, Elaine Parke. Welcome, Elaine.
Hi, Steve. I'm going to join you today with a smile, actually 2 smiles. There's one here up above me and the one on my face. I'm looking forward to a wonderful episode on positive attitude.
Elaine, I could really identify with this month's habit because for over 30 years, I've been getting people to laugh and cheering myself up in the process. Figure if I can entertain myself, I'm probably entertaining other people. Now, even off stage, I found that humor and playfulness is such a great way to help us through our challenges in life. And because humor causes creative thinking, sometimes it helps us find an actual solution that we never would have thought of otherwise. So, Elaine, tell us about the choice of November as the month to show a positive attitude, signifying the color of sunny yellow. And by the way, why does it show a positive attitude instead of be positive?
Well, Steve, I explained in earlier episodes that when the group in the small community were picking the different months and the habits. They had a difficult time choosing between whether to make November gratitude or May gratitude, because there's Thanksgiving in November and there's lots of things to be grateful for in May. But ultimately, we made May be grateful and we made November show a positive attitude, because what could be more positive than Thanksgiving? Actually, being positive and gratitude are almost interchangeable, because when you have an attitude of gratitude, of course you have a positive attitude. When as this was going along and I was working with artists and whatever, and they kept wanting me to make the habit be positive, because of course it was shorter words. But you can't tell somebody to be positive, but you can ask them to show a positive attitude. Maybe even when they don't feel like it. For instance, it's like you've been saying earlier, if you fake it till you make it, then perhaps it's really going to be there. A little while ago, I kind of went on the internet because I kind of wondered about the source of this smiley face. And I found out that the smiley face was created by a man named Harvey Ball. Kind of interesting, smiley face, Ball. But anyway, it was in Worcestershire, Massachusetts in 1963. And he was asked by a company called State Insurance Farm Company to create a logo or an insignia to uplift the attitudes of his employees, and also to create a positive image for the company. And he came up with the world's first smiley face. So I think that's kind of cool.
That's a great story. I love that somebody invented the smiley face for an insurance company ad. And look at where it's gone. We are now, we all know November, as you mentioned, is the month of Thanksgiving. And even though you chose May as the month to be grateful, clearly there's a relationship between giving thanks in November and showing a positive attitude. So why don't you say a little bit more about how we can actually bring that gratefulness, that gratitude, reinforce what we first did in May, 6 months later, and begin to restart it and amplify it in November. Now, of course, we all know November is the month of Thanksgiving, and even though we chose May as the month to be grateful, Elaine, is there a relationship between giving thanks in November and showing a positive attitude?
Well, Steve, of course there is. I mean, when we're counting our blessings, what else can that be but a positive attitude? We've used a lot of similes throughout the different episodes to explain the positiveness and gratitude and all the things that make us feel whole and healthy, and practicing mental health. And certainly a positive attitude is one of the main things. There's actually one of the readings out of the book on November 3rd says, it's about smiles. Smiles improve our attitudes and makes life easier. Smiling stimulates the nervous system to produce cerebral morphine. This hormone gives us a pleasant feeling and has an anesthetic effect. It also takes fewer calories to smile. Remember, Thanksgiving is coming up, so fewer calories is very important. You got to do a lot of smiling in November. It takes fewer calories to smile than to frown. It takes 72 muscles to frown and only 14 to smile. When you're feeling down, you can help lift your spirits with a smile. Call or plan to see a friend who is outgoing and upbeat. Remember that it's always best to wear a smile. So in the book, it says, start every day off with a smile and get it over with. That's W.C. Fields. So how can you separate gratitude from positive attitudes? They're one and the same. We all know that.
Start the day with a smile. Get it over with.
Get it over with. That's W.C. Fields. Can you see the cigar?
Yes, well, that's what W.C. Fields said. But if you keep going, it actually makes it better. Yeah, it seems to me that November gives us the same choices every other month. Choose to feed the wolf of love rather than the wolf of fear. So I can tell you, I've been in difficult circumstances and wanted to check in with that still small voice and go, yep, still small. Well, the way that we make the still small voice larger is by bringing that spirit of joy to our heart and letting it radiate on our face. And Again, it's not about denying the difficulties in life, it's about energizing and amplifying the field of solution. That's the choice we always have. You know, it's that still small voice that gently asks, which of the scenarios do you want to energize? The one that you want or the one that you don't want? Now, this is not about denying difficulties in life. It's about energizing and amplifying the field of solution, which is the choice we always have, no matter what our circumstances.
You know, the month of November about attitude makes me think of one of my very favorite books of all time. I've read it 3 times. It's Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And really, what are we doing here on earth but searching for meaning? What are the 12 habits about? Searching for meaning. But in his book, written about his experiences in the concentration camps during the Holocaust in Germany, he makes an amazing distinction between the difference between freedom and liberty. Now think about it. I think here in America, we sort of use those two interchangeably. But for him, there was a very unique distinction in that someone can take away our liberty. They can confine us. They can take away our liberty to do anything they want physically. But what they can't take away is our freedom to have a positive attitude, to live within our hearts, to have a healthy soul, to care for one another. That's the thing, that no matter how much someone takes away our liberty, they can't take away our freedom to choose the attitude, the way we want to live our life. And he chose to live a positive way of life, as we all know.
Wow, I love that distinction. Viktor Frankl's book had a great impact on me too. And something else I remember, this is very interesting because, again, my field is humor, that he and another prisoner made a pact to find humor every day, something to laugh about every day, no matter what was going on. You know, because again, laughter represents the boundless joy of the human spirit, even when we are bound in confinement. And to give you an idea of the kind of leverage that humor provided in this dire, horrific situation, here's an actual joke that circulated among the inmates of the camp. By the way, there was a book called Laughter in Hell, Humor and the Holocaust, that talks about this much more broadly. But here's the joke. 2 Jewish guys decide that they are going to assassinate Hitler. They know that Hitler's motorcade passes this one intersection every day at 11 in the morning. They're waiting for him. 11 in the morning, he doesn't show up. 11:15, 11:30. When he's not there by 11:45, one of the assassins says to the other, "Gee, I hope nothing's happened to him." So this is an indication of the kind of leverage, I would call it leverage, that having a sense of humor can actually make your compassion for your enemy bigger than your enemy's hatred for you. Very powerful. Along those lines, Elaine, tell us more about how showing a positive attitude can make a difference in November.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Steve, that the month of November is Thanksgiving. So the whole month gives us an opportunity to renew and refresh our relationship with gratitude. There's another aspect of this period of time, in that even though we're going into the holiday season and so-called the period of giving, in a way, there's a little bit of stress that starts to creep in, and we all know what that's all about. You know, getting the decorations, and it gets us into the material world where we're worrying about gifts and presents and cards and deadlines, and suddenly all this giving and the things that and the to-do lists, getting ready for the season and parties and whatever, actually brings along a lot of stress, which is another reason why making November a positive attitude kind of helps us keep our cool, let's put it that way, during the holiday, or as we head into the holiday season. Another aspect of it is keeping positive is helped when we do count our blessings, when we wake up in the morning and we start the day saying that we have a positive attitude, and perhaps just even thinking of one little thing the prior day that was a blessing. So I think the two are interchangeable, and I think show a positive attitude It's a very good way to keep the stress down as we head into the holiday season, where all this happiness does also bring a lot of stress.
You know, there's something about the universality of laughter. Everybody, all human beings, no matter where they are, no matter what the culture, they laugh. And a number of years ago, my wife Trudy and I were traveling in Europe, and we met somebody who was a translator who interpreted for the European Union. And she told us a story that she was translating this guy's talk. He told a joke. And as you know, jokes are very difficult to translate linguistically and culturally from one to the other. She translated it, everybody burst out laughing. Well, the guy was very, very impressed. He came up to her afterward. He says, "Wow, how did you translate my joke?" She says, "Oh, I just told them it's a joke, laugh." So ever since, ever since I've heard that, to me, that's become the mantra when you're confronted with what I call a laugh-threatening situation, not life-threatening. You know, nobody is going to die, nobody's going to be seriously ill, you're not going to go bankrupt, you're not going to lose your home, but something that you find irritating in life. Maybe you're not in hell, maybe you're just in heck, right? If you choose to find the humor hidden in the picture when that happens, it's a way to put us above the line, and we begin to see our blessings. We begin to recognize, oh, there's more to life. We broaden our view because laughter puts us above the line, above the horizon. There's more to see. We can see a better future for ourselves. So think of both laughter and gratitude as nourishment for the soul. And you can actually, when you feel nourished yourself, you're better able to broadcast it out there. And then when you see the faces of others reflecting that back to you, you can once again reflect that back to them. So, Elaine, you've been working on this for years in the real world with real people practicing these habits. Tell us some stories about breakthrough from showing a positive attitude.
Before I get to that, I kind of want to respond a little bit to what you said about jokes, because the book, The Habits of Unity, every month is the habits or the little inspirational half-page readings for each month. Each month has its own personality depending on what the habit of the month is. So November, positive attitude. Well, every day in November, I tell a little joke. Every day there's a little joke at the bottom of the page. So there's 30 of them in the month of November, well, probably a few more than 30 really, but I'm going to just share 4 with the audience. Love makes the world go round, but laughter keeps us from falling off. Here's another one. It's better to light one candle than to waste electricity. Here's another one, and this is a very meaningful one. We've been talking about it already. The shortest distance between 2 people is paved with smiles and laughter. And finally, all sunshine makes a desert. And we are finding that out in the Southwest of America at this point in time. Okay, that being said about jokes, there have been, over the 30 years, many people in organizations and so forth have just made amazing contributions to helping uplift and unite the people of the communities, the kids, teaching them character. You know, there's just so many real stories and practices. Like in one community, there were 20,000 monthly flyers produced by a local hospital and distributed to all their employees throughout the community each month to help uplift, because they felt that positive attitudes was a healthy thing. So this hospital got involved. One of my very favorites started with one dentist, but after a while, many of the dentists have done it in different communities. But once they got their monthly posters, they put their posters on the ceiling over the patient's chairs. So here's the patient, you know, and they've got this smile, be happy, looking at them on the ceiling, which is the only place they can look. I always like that. Grocery stores have printed one of the monthly habits at the top of their, at the top of their receipts that the customer gets at the checkout. A local utility made a little insert that went out with their utility bills that matched the monthly habits. And There were restaurants that made placemats with the monthly habits so that the kids could color on them. So there are many, many things. I mean, that's just one of hundreds of thousands because of, as I explained to you, because so much of what really causes the change in a community doesn't come from me, Elaine Parke. It comes from materials and messaging and the involvement and the creativity of other people. So much of what really has happened over these 30 years, I've actually not had a chance to see. But it does show up in the statistics. And I think I've mentioned, at least in the introductory episode, that there have been studies, 9 university-based studies done over the years about the community and about the changes, the positive changes in students and in people throughout communities because of the habits being practiced in that community or in those schools. Like in the communities, 39%, after less than 2 years, 39% of most of the local, small community populations reported they improved their behaviors and attitudes. 72% reported that they felt more cared about and connected to others in the community. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Caring and connection and coherent relationships. And in one community, they had actually measured the dockets, the criminal, civil and criminal dockets in the court system. And after 15 years of continually rising, the criminal court dockets in that town had gone down by more than 10%, saving that county about $160,000 in 1 year. You know, when people don't do bad things, it costs the community less. Same thing in schools. Many people don't know that one detention in a school costs the school system approximately $1,000 when you put together the time of the teachers and the principal and the after school proctors and so on. So after, again, several years of practicing these habits in schools, 85% of the kids reported more caring, respectful behaviors. 62.5% reported working harder in school. 61% said they have done something nice for someone at home or at school. 54% said they've learned to set positive goals and to achieve them. And finally, an average of 22% saw a decrease in student detention. So a 22% decrease in detention, $1,000 a detention. Imagine how much money would be saved. So this is the way that the school, this is the way that the 12 Habits of Unity program operating in schools and communities over the last 30 years have made a positive difference because they've created positive attitudes, they've created connectedness, they've uplifted people and made these communities better. So we're very, very proud of that.
Wow, I love those stories. I love the idea. By the way, I love the dentist. I love that dentist because, as you know, when you're laughing and smiling, it actually mitigates pain. So maybe they can transcend dental medication by looking at the ceiling up there, right? Also, the positive attitude has tangible, I love the fact that it has tangible differences, first of all, in the statistics that you show. You know, again, some of the statistics are self-reported, but the measurement of truancy, the measurement of days that people are absent, and all of these things, crime, all of these things create actual, genuine, tangible, in some ways, financial benefit for the whole community. So just simple practice. What you introduced into those communities actually showed tangible benefits. And then when people are reporting the benefits, like we had, you know, people reporting that they were kind to people, what that's doing is it's reinforcing these habits. It's good. People are remembering, oh yes, I did that. Oh yes, I was that way. Oh yes, it made a difference. It made a difference. It's very, very powerful that you're doing it that way. So I want to make sure that we've covered everything. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Elaine?
I would like to add a little more of a comment on the research that's been done over the years on the 12 habits, in that, as you so correctly pointed out to the audience, to the people who are listening, the research that's been done on the 12 habits path has been done using a combination of self-reported surveys and pre and post data collection. And together, these have shown the outcomes that I've explained to you. Many programs like this are often required to be measured by medical standards, which means there has to be a defined control group that doesn't get any of the influence over here. And then this area here where you conduct the program and you compare this program to the control group, and then you're able to say that it worked here, but not the control group was unchanged. This model does not fit that standard. It can only be measured using pre and post self-reporting surveys combined with pre and post data collection.
Thanks, Elaine. You know, I'm so relieved to find that there was no control group for positivity and gratitude, meaning that those two qualities are now out of control. We have gratitude, laughter, positivity out of control in the month of November. So thank you. You know, this month, the month of November, we invite you to show a positive attitude by bringing heart-opening humor, yes, and gratitude to your life. Humor yourself and others. Remember, the more you count your blessings, the more your blessings will count. Oh, and there's one recommended practice for this month, one recommended activity. Go to our website, join our Facebook group, and participate. Share your stories of bringing laughter and gratitude to the world, and see how others are installing this practice. Remember, the laugh you save may be your own. And for the monthly practice, begin each day by lovingly laughing in your own face. We call this self-facing laughter. Look in the mirror and laugh. Fake it till you make it. If you look at your own face first thing in the morning, if that look evokes horror, pretend you're looking at somebody else. That should make you laugh. And then during the day, see if you can find ways to make other people smile. And then, as you get ready to go to sleep at night, note your successes.
All right, this is apparently it's two bullets and it's a long segment, isn't it?
A little bit. I'm actually going to add to it.
Keep going. You just keep going.
Yeah, I just noticed that share stories, share stats and studies hides a tribe of assassins. But yeah. Okay, carry on.